It was completely done through Economy Garages. Yep, they did everything. They brought in the contractor, the cement contractor, the construction crew, the roofer. Everything was completely done through them.
Well, I spoke with Dennis at the Superior Home Show, or the Sportsman Show, and I'd looked into him before. I priced around a lot. I called one of their competitors on the same road up next to him there. The same day I called Dennis on this, and well, I still went with this. I went to Menards and I priced out the same size building even, without a slab and without shingles, and the price was like a $2,000 difference in just material, and that that of course didn't include a slab or shingles. It wouldn't have paid for me to build it myself. So it takes a lot of barbecue and a lot of beer to get enough buddies over to put a garage up. The price is right, and they're just fast. It's easy. They're here. They put the building up. They're gone. So it's a no-brainer, really.
We had the exposed foundation on the one side. That's an extra charge, but we knew this everything in advance. They never came back and said, well, this is going to cost a little bit more doing it. No, we talked about it. We talked everything it was. The salesman came out and completely measured it, staked it. It was all ready to go. We knew exactly what we were going to be doing. And when they came back with the final cost, it was, realistically, it shocked me because it was lower than I thought it was going to be. It really was.
We had anticipated building our own garage. So one day my wife and I were driving out of Duluth, and I thought, Economy Garage. I'd heard the name now and then on TV and so forth, and I thought, let's just stop there. I'd never really, I didn't really know anything about them, but anyway, we pulled in there and sat down with one of their people, and actually, we were pretty impressed with the thoroughness and the questions they asked and so forth, and of course the price, and took us on a little tour of their facility there, and it seemed pretty impressive. It just seemed like we couldn't have done it any better ourselves as far as price-wise. We had actually been prepared to do this through several different other vendors, and I would say that the price here was very competitive. When we sat down with the person that kind of wrote up our contract, that was another thing that was fairly impressive because there are actually, even on a relatively modest garage like ours, there's a lot of options. For instance, the original garage door, they suggested going, I think it was 24 inches wider. And I'm certainly glad they brought that up. So I guess what I'm saying is that I think they brought up a lot of the things that we needed to consider, because it's just part of the process. The other thing I was impressed with was the fact that it didn't really cost that much more to build with 2x6 construction versus 2x4 construction. I think there was probably a couple $100 difference. And when you consider insulating and just the stoutness of the building itself, that was very it was a very impressive price difference.
I was looking on the computer at home, and I did see a couple of ads up here on the television. And I called, and talked to a few people, and actually I ended up talking to Eric Holt, and I made an appointment. He came out and met with me, and it all worked out real good. He came here and estimated everything and gave me the price. It only took matter, I don't know, probably an hour and a half, and we were pretty much done and set. Shot his elevations, had everything marked off, explained everything to me, showed me, what was going into the building. Like I said, it worked out good.
It was a little bit more of a complicated build because of the raised foundation and such. So I've been in construction virtually all my life in aspects of selling, building. So I wanted it to be built to basically my standards. what I would want it to be. People that know me, they know that I'm very much a perfectionist, and it needed to be somebody that I felt comfortable with. It couldn't be just anybody.
Yeah, it's quick and easy. It was really quick and easy. Helped them draw some blueprints, and basically it was just a matter of them coming out and doing it. 2 to 3 weeks, it was real quick. Real quick. They had a good crew that came out, and they worked fast and steady even through the heat.
They took care of everything. All I basically had to do once I signed the contract, gave them the down payment, was I had to get my permits from the county and the town. And after I sent in a copy of the permits, basically everything else, I mean, I was contacted by ground prep, I was contacted by the concrete people, and then when they were ready to start erecting the building, they called me.
I talked to probably 3 other contractors that were more general contractors that were either not able to build it, didn't want to take on that type of job, because as a general contractor, it's a small job, opposed to a house. So some of them literally never even got back with me. And the other people that I had talked to, I would have had to actually pay for a larger garage and have it built smaller, where Economy just said, well, yeah, we can build it any size you want.
Actually, it ended up being 2 weeks earlier than the original start date. So, yeah, I was real happy.
They matched the color. We even stood out here, all 3 of the salesmen, my wife, myself, we stood out here with samples looking from the alley to the house to see what color would blend best with the house to put on the garage.
Well, if the homeowner's around, the first thing they'll see is us pulling this rig up. We're going to square up the slab. We're going to take off the poly that they've got on the slab. We'll square it up to make sure the concrete guys did their job, made it square so we can put up a square building. If it's not, we'll make adjustments. We'll snap our lines, and then we'll unload the whole trailer. We stack our trusses on the slab. Our wall panels go on top of that, and all the rest of the materials for the whole building get dropped wherever there's room for them on the site. As soon as we got everything in line, start drilling holes in the bottom plates, measuring them all, and standing the walls up. First 4 hours of the job looks like it's going up quick. It's like walls. We'll tie it all together with the top plates, and then we'll flip our trusses, sheet the roof. Normally that's our first day, depending on the size of the building, of course. And everyone gets kind of surprised at how quick it actually goes, but it's a pretty slick system.
As an industrial arts teacher, one of my jobs was to get 10th and 11th grade boys to build a 3-bedroom Rambler. The sad part of that thing, because you're doing it outdoors, is to see a building so abused by weather conditions. You're bound to have wet weather, cold weather, rainy weather, and eventually snow. And, I'm sure that's typical of a lot of people that are trying to build their own garage or to get the family to build a garage. And you can't avoid it, And to leave a new building exposed to the elements that long, it's really a shame, because it takes a beating, And having this thing prefabbed indoors and then assembled in such a expedient manner, it doesn't get an opportunity to be exposed to a whole lot of elements. So the fact that it was built in January didn't really affect it at all. The more I thought about it, I realized that, this thing is going to actually be built, not assembled, but built indoors, where it's not going to get wet and it's not going to be exposed to the elements and so forth. So that seemed like a pretty good selling factor.
Normally they're always taken aback by how fast they go up. Just starting from a slab to a building in a day to 3 days. You don't see that, I guess, all that often. But through Economy, it's all pre-paneled. It's a giant puzzle that we just get to put together, make look nice. There's a specific order that those walls have to go up in. I mean, you have to, do your measurements, mark out all your trusses so they're going up right. There's a lot of components that, a lot of fine details that you have to be paying attention to along the way to make sure everything goes up square and looks good. And I've had nothing but happy customers. They're always satisfied. We do a pretty good job. I keep a close eye on my guys to make sure quality's up to par, because quality is most important.
To be honest with you, I was a little skeptical about a pre-built building. I guess I'm so traditional as far as how things should be done that, you know, I hadn't really watched that done as far as being put together. But I have to say that I was really impressed with the ease with which they were able to handle it all and put it together. And first of all, the slab. You know, there were two guys that showed up with a couple shovels, and I was really kind of impressed with how by late afternoon they had actually dug the footings, and you know, we had the concrete arrived, and they poured the footings, and all the re-rod went in that they had promised, and and the next day they were back to put a course of block around it, and now that was like in November that took place, and like I say, there was a very light footprint. I mean, they were in and out of here without a whole lot of fanfare.
They had all 4 walls up in like 3 hours, and it rained the following couple days, and after the rain cleared, it was 2 days. It was 2 days. It was done, roofed, trimmed out, and they were done. They came back the following day and cleaned up their construction debris, and that was all done.
You know, I'm pretty impressed with that kind of accuracy. I'm a retired machine shop instructor myself, so you know, I'm familiar with accuracy when it comes to building things, and when they can put a wall section together and hold 1/8 of an inch tolerance and so forth, I was pretty impressed with that.
So like a smaller building, 24 by 24 T111 with the standard 412 pitch roof. Like a lot of crews can put that up in one day. Nice weather, of course, but a nice long day, and they'll have a full building from start to finish completed. Starting to get a little bigger, like into the bigger buildings, stretches in the 2-3 day range, get a 30 by 40. Depending on if it's vinyl or T111, can take 4 or 5 days, but our average builds take 2 to 3 days, so it's way faster. You just got to make sure everything goes up straight and in line and looks nice. Once you get the right system down, things just kind of fall into place. Just got to make sure your guys are doing the right thing at the right time. And I've run the training program here. When I get new guys in, they come through me. I've been doing this for a little while now, and we have, like I said, we have a pretty unique process. You got a nice smooth system to work off of. Quality and speed are 2 big things. Safety is thrown in the mix there too, and that's what I teach all the new guys that I bring on. They all start getting it and can put it together, and things just flow together. And that way, we got 3 crews running now. All of them operate the exact same way. The crew is really fast, real nice bunch of guys. With all my guys that I bring through, I set pretty high expectations out of them. I tell them right off the bat what I'm expecting, what our goal is. The biggest thing is taking pride in your work. If you look at that and say, I might have done that differently if that was my garage, then change it to make it that way. Treat every building you're putting up like it's something you would have, that you would pay the money for, that you want in your backyard.
I was amazed to see how they handle this stuff. I had figured there'd have to be a crane involved or a truck with some kind of something on it to lift. And the big gooseneck trailer pulled in. And lo and behold, half an hour later, between the driver and the 2 carpenters, they had it all unloaded. And it was pretty evident that they worked as a team and they knew what they were doing.
The more of these buildings you do, the more things like you see and know how to handle. And
the way they build it in panels that 2 people can handle, it's amazing how they're all blocked together. They just stand it up there, they slide them together, they drop onto the bolts, and it's amazing how simplistic it is. And it's a lot faster.
They were very prompt from the time that I signed and gave them the deposit for the garage. It was only a matter of approximately 5 weeks and they were done.
When it was all said and done, I was very impressed with the fact that the diagonals were right on, she was plumb and true and square. It's obvious that they've got people that have worked together. They've got a system. I went back up there and visited after I had inspected it and approved it and accepted it. And I had kind of mentioned that the crew wasn't real chatty. They don't seem to engage in a lot of conversation. They stick with the job and get her done.
The concrete guys came in and they put the forms up so perfectly, and they were out of here the next day. The forms were gone and the slab was just sitting here just beautiful. They covered it, it rained, and then it started to snow on the thing. It was about 4 weeks after, because the concrete company was free earlier than the construction company was. So they put the slab here, and then they covered it with plastic. And to tell you the truth, there was a lot of snow that had happened. We got a lot of snow at the beginning of the year. It completely covered the slab. It took 3 guys 8 hours just to clear all the snow. And then all of a sudden, they were done with that. All of a sudden, there was a truck sitting here with all the wall panels and everything on it, and they unloaded it, and it was crazy in my mind, but they did it. It was amazing. It was because the garage was built in the winter and it was so cold. We were sub-zero for probably 6 days out of the 10 days that they had to work with it. But they endured. They were out there. They had blast. They did a wonderful job with the garage.
No, they stayed right with it. Once they got started, they were here every day until it was all done. And thank goodness we didn't have any, real bad snowstorms or anything like that. So that went well. The cold weather didn't seem to slow anything down.
Oh yes, it's an amazing setup they have there. They have it set up so precise, so it's actually very simplistic the way they have it set up, and it's so efficient. It's amazing. They knew exactly how much everything is needed. One of the guys unfortunately stepped on a piece of metal trim, and they had to go get another one because that was the last one that was finishing the garage, and they stepped on it and ruined it. So they had to go get another piece just to finish it. So they have it down to a science.
There isn't waste. The pile that they showed up the next morning to haul away didn't amount to anything but scrap tin and, a few odds and ends that you're bound to end up with.
Very nice, quality job. Everything that I looked at is tight, square. They were very prompt. Probably 2 days as far as the construction of it, erecting it, and they were, roofed and everything done. This is a Wayne Dalton door, and I've seen other garage doors, but this door here, it is well built, It's a little heavier, it seems, and the framework of it and the ribbing, make it more sturdy, It's not like a regular steel door, because I've seen some of them. If you get a high winds, they'll tend to get like ripples, across the bottom. But this door here, it's pretty solid. The entry door, nice, I think it's a 6-panel door, solid door, but, pretty sturdy and good quality steel door.
Oh, it's all great equipment. They put in good energy efficient windows with screens. The door is a nice steel door. They even gave me a couple options with the door. I decided not to go with a window in the door. And the garage door is a high-end, energy-efficient, insulated steel door. It is all just wonderful equipment. The garage door doesn't have springs. It's a counterbalance spring that's driven inside of it. So you can adjust it with a drill. The steel 6-panel door, the vinyl windows that are insulated with screen, they slide, they lock. It's very nice. We did go with the upscale siding to match the color of the house a little bit, but all the steel soffit and fascia. I had one of the salesmen climbing up on the roof matching the shingle color. They did a wonderful job. It is good equipment. It's OSB'd on the outside, so it's a solid construction. They don't put the buffalo board or nothing on there. Then it's all tie-vacked with the vinyl siding over that. No, it's very, very efficiently built.
The garage door was in and the windows, and they walked me around and showed me demonstrated the windows that they would slide nice and even, and the door shuts tight and so forth. So, no, I was very impressed. They did a nice job, And then there was of course, we used tin on the roof, so there was a big pile of odds and ends of mess left, the day they finished. And they said, oh, we're going to send somebody here to pick that up. And I thought, well, we'll see when that happens. And then the next morning, and it was about like 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning, I heard something, and here there was a trailer and a pickup out here. And within a half an hour, that was all cleaned up, and that was the last I saw of them.
They came back the following day. A guy come back with a trailer, cleaned up everything I didn't want here, and off it went down the road. He raked and magneted up nails, and it was all gone. Did a good job cleaning up.
I designed it myself. This sits exactly the way I wanted it to be built. And they never had a problem with, well, we can't do that. Nope, it was just like, okay, we'll do this, we do this, we do this. It was easy. I feel just wonderful the way they did it. The landscaping on the side here that we wanted to, that was part of our design. And so they built it to do what we wanted it to do. They blended that just so nicely to be able to let us do our landscaping on the side here. And it's just, they sloped it all and built it just what we asked them to do. And never oh, well, we can't do that, we do that. Oh yeah, no problem. They just did it. Without a doubt, I love it. It's amazing. We've had absolutely no problems. I've never had to do anything of shimming the door because the garage has moved anything. The door still sits across the slab, completely seals the whole garage. There's not been a 1 ounce of any settling or anything with it. It's just been amazing.
Price and the quality of what they're using, and if you want a garage done in a certain amount of time and you don't have the time to be, running around here and there, after you do your permits and everything, they take care of the rest.
Oh, it was wonderful. It really was. It'd be nice this winter going from working in the snow and the slush to working on a cement floor with lights and heater and night and day. It'd be just great. It's been great so far. Wife really likes it. Kids love it. They're in there more than I am, sadly. Yeah, it'll be nice this winter. I actually can't wait for winter. And the price was right. It's the size I was looking for. It was an easy decision, really. I would definitely give Dennis or one of the salesmen at Economy Garages a call, because I work in a garage all day long, and I'm very satisfied with the garage they built me. So
It'll be a year this coming January. Oh, I'm 100% satisfied. Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't have done a better job myself. No, that's a fact. So there's no complaints whatsoever.
Quality is number one. That's what we go for. We want to put up the best quality garage we can. Good material and put together right makes a great building, and we put them together pretty well.